Hey everybody, what's going on? You're watching Sit Down. I'm DJ Sixsmith. CMT Music Awards on October 21st. Ashley McBryde, one of the hosts. Hey Ashley, what's up? How are you?
I'm great.
I like your little here. It's a little different. You're probably the first person that's used a puppet before.
That's what I was wondering. Has anybody ever jumped onto an interview with a puppet before? Because I'm sure, how many interviews do you have to do a week? You don't want this kind of thing to get old. So
first of all, I love that. Second of all, where does the puppet come from? I mean, how does the idea spark there? You got
why do you have
why the puppet, right?
We were on tour and I don't remember why, but it was one late night. I just got on Amazon and ordered a purple puppet and it stays on the bus.
I love it.
And now it's just a thing. Yeah.
And who do you have next to you there?
This is my dog Opie, and he has been laying here for over an hour doing nothing.
I just got a puppy recently, so I'm new to the dog game. We got an Irish Doodle, which is a poodle and an Irish setter mixed together.
Oh my goodness.
So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a good time. Yeah. So why don't we talk a little CMT Music Awards? You've had an awesome career, and this is a really cool event. So what's the dopest part of being able to host this year?
I think being able to host is one of the coolest things that's happened to me so far in my career. And even though it's been a really weird year, a lot of really cool things have happened this year, which they wouldn't have been possible, without us being off the road. I got to play Loretta Lynn's guitar the other day, which was really cool. And now I get to host the CMT Awards with Sarah Hyland and King Brown. And Sarah and I wouldn't have become friends if this hadn't happened. So I'm just really excited about it. And CMT has put a lot of thought into, we all know that some of it has to be pre-taped, but there still is a live aspect to it. And they've put a lot of thought and care into making us feel normal. And because, none of us are going to be around each other, but we still need to be able to interact. And I think everybody watching at home will feel like this is it's an award show. It's how it should be done. And they've just gone to such great lengths to make us feel that way.
So Ashley, 2020 has been a really crazy year. COVID-19, the conversations of racial injustice. To me, music feels more important because it gives us an escape, gives us something else to think about. What have you been listening to, and how important is music to you, especially in this year?
Yeah, we're going to look back on every record that came out in 2020, and it's going to be the soundtrack for how we dealt with the pandemic. And some of that will make us happy and think back about, oh, what a great day that was. The record came out. And some of us will look at it and be like, God, I can't listen to that song. It makes me think of that time in 2020. But you're right. Music does give us an escape. And I got to do something during quarantine that I haven't gotten to do in a long time, because when you're on tour, you don't get to do it this way. You only get singles and little bites of music. So I would pick a record, I would pick a wine, and I would pick a meal. And I would, while cooking, would just listen to that record top to bottom, which is how a record is supposed to be listened to. And we forget how much thought goes into track one, the middle track, and that last track. So even though it's been a really nutty roller coaster year, I'm thankful that I was able to remember how we're supposed to listen to music.
I know that Sam Hunt and Kelsey Ballerini are a few of your favorites. You mentioned you're cooking, you're putting wine with them. So what kind of meal and wine goes with each of those artists? Why don't you give me a couple examples of what you cooked up?
It was really interesting because I listened to the Brandy Clark record, and I was doing a lot of grilling at the time. And I mean, you never think brats when you think Brandy Clark. That's just what would happen. And I'm going to listen to a Kelsey Ballerini record all the way through, and I have no idea what's going to be on it or what that's going to sound like. So I'd be like, I don't know, let's make a chicken dish. And then I don't know, Sam Hunt, what are we going to do? Pulled pork? I have no idea. Let's just, a lot of steaks happened. A lot of jalapeno peppers happened in my kitchen this year.
You kept it interesting. I like to hear that. And I feel like your career has been really interesting to this point. So how did you define your sound? I feel like first people kind of go and pretend to be like other people. They're doing, their best impersonation, and then they find their own sound. How was that journey for you? Yeah,
when people would ask, they asked my brother, well, what does she sound like? And he's like, I don't know. She just sounds like Ashley. I grew up in the bluegrass realm, and I've always been a huge fan of bluegrass and what we now call classic country, just country to me back then. But there was always this other thing, and I'd be at bluegrass jams playing, and I thought, I listened to a lot of Alison Krauss, and I'd be singing an Alison Krauss song and think, my voice is too far forward for this song. I feel like I'm doing it wrong. And I wasn't doing it wrong. I just didn't know what that thing was until I realized that Janis Joplin had a thing. And it's sort of like that, but it's not like that. Trisha Yearwood has a thing she can do, but it's not like that. But I have this other thing that my voice sounds like. And I started leaning into it. And when I moved to Memphis, Tennessee, it made perfect sense. It's the birthplace of rock and roll. It's the home of the blues. And suddenly I felt like I was in the right place to make music.
That's really awesome. What do you think makes a great country song today? Story is super important, but what do you think is most important when it comes to a jam?
For me, a great country song makes me, it's like a gut punch, but either because the story is so good or because the message is so good. My favorite kind of country song is one that makes me angry because I didn't write it. When I heard Hold My Hand by Brandy Clark for the first time, I was like, I can't believe I didn't think that. How have I never thought of that? But you're right, story, and not necessarily what we would say like Outlaws or Defiance or anything like that. Just a good story. And most of the time, those stories come with a good message. There's no greater example of that than Miss Dolly Parton, who can write any story and draw you in within, just a couple of lines at the top of the song.
Have you gotten to cross paths with Dahlia?
A couple of times, and she hosted the award show last year. She hosted the CMAs, and I walked right past her and Reba, and I just walked kind of as fast as I could, because I'm one of those people that if I'm nervous, whatever's going to fall out of my mouth is going to fall out of my mouth. And so I might accidentally bark. I might just make like a sound, and that would be, then I would have to change my name and move to a different country. So I tried to cross paths, just let her juju fall near me, but I didn't want to approach the queen.
Well, something tells me she'll be watching this year when you're hosting, and it should be a great time. Ashley, really nice to meet you. Say hi to Opie. Say hi to your puppet.
Bye-bye.
And we'll talk to you down the road, all right?
All right. It's good to talk to you.